Gentlemen, front double biceps.
That's what you're going to hear being called when you're on stage right after your quarter turns. This is the first pose to get called during the comparison round of the mandatory poses between the competitors on stage. Now the purpose of this video is to break down this pose into segments and allow you guys to focus on what needs to be done while you're performing this pose in order to make it look your best. We're going to be going over variations of the foot placement, arm placement, angles with the arms, and things to do with your abs and your midsection to make the pose look just right for you. We are going to approach this pose as if it's a brand new pose, a whole new concept that you've never seen before. That way we just start from scratch and we're able to learn and build from the ground up. So sit back, relax, and prepare yourself to learn how to perform the front double biceps. So let's go ahead and break this pose into the three primary segments we're going to be discussing, starting with the lower body. Number 2 is going to be the upper body. Number 3 is going to be midsection adjustments. So guys, this is going to be the order that we talk about them. This is also going to be the order in which we want to get everything set. So our pose will start with our lower body adjustments, we will then make our upper body adjustments, and we will follow through with the midsection adjustments to finish off the pose. Now we're moving into our lower body adjustments, and I want to reiterate this, guys. There is not necessarily a right and wrong way to hit these poses. You can hit them in just about any way that you feel makes your pose look at its best. Keep that in mind. Now moving into the lower body adjustments, let's talk about some things that I've noticed look good and feel good, and then some things I've noticed don't look nearly as good on competitors. Now one way of setting your legs is just like they look in your typical front relaxed pose. The way that you stand with your feet slightly angled out from each other, your knees are slightly bent, and you're digging your heels into the ground to apply as much pressure to your legs as you possibly can. This way is usually much more comfortable for people who are just starting out learning how to pose, because they don't have to remember too many extra steps. You just get your feet planted the same way they were in the front relaxed, and then you move on to the upper body. Now moving forward from here, we could shift our body weight to one side, one leg or the other, and mainly I see it happens on the left side, so we'll use that side for the example. You'll shift your body weight to the left leg, applying all the tension naturally onto that leg, keeping the knee slightly bent still, and then kicking out or placing out your right foot slightly out to the right and in front of the other foot. This is something that you see a lot as well. But looking closer, we have to be aware of the way that our foot is planted when it comes to the foot that is out to the side more. So say our left foot has all the weight and we plant our right foot out in front to the right. We want to make sure that we put the pressure more so on the balls of our feet, slightly more on the toes. Alright, if we put it on the heel, it's going to cause that leg to be straightened out more and the pose isn't going to look as good. Alright, so we put the pressure more on the balls of the feet, maybe a little bit more of the toe. That's also going to put more pressure and tension on the quadricep and help add that extra definition because you are adding that tension. Now if I had to give a weight distribution percentage between your left leg and your right leg, I would say it would be somewhere between 60 to 75% of my weight on my left leg, or the leg that has all of my weight shifted on it, and then the rest of that percentage be at 25, 30, 35% on the leg that is kicked out and flared. So there is not an equal weight distribution. If you did even out the weight distribution, then your body would square up and the pose would not look right. So keep that in mind, guys. Now the beauty of this style of posing in this specific pose is that, again, it applies tension to the leg that has the pressure on it just naturally by applying that weight shift to it. All right, this is a great way to get your legs locked and set and then move on to the rest of your body, be it your upper body and your midsection adjustments, without having to think too much more about the tension on your legs. Now that leads us to one of the things that you don't want to do, and that would be standing up straight with your weight equally distributed between both legs with both knees completely locked out. Rarely will you see this look good on an athlete. All right, usually people end up doing it on their first or second competition when they're not really sure how to pose, so that usually does not look good. Let's stay away from that unless for some reason you have such an incredible flare on both quadriceps that it just makes you look massive. Now in general, foot placement is important. Normally we don't have our feet facing forward. Alright, feet facing forward is going to take away a lot of the size or the illusion of having size from our thighs. So take a look in the mirror next time you're practicing your posing or you're about to take a shower. Make your feet face forward and apply tension to them, and then angle them out, both 45 degrees out to the side, and take a look at the difference it makes in just the overall appearance of how big your thighs look. So keep that in mind too, guys. So now that we have some of the basics of our lower body adjustments done, let's go ahead and move on to the upper body adjustments. Now we may cycle back and talk a little bit more about each section at the end, but I want to move on so you guys don't get too bored just talking about your leg placement here.